This is TOS TV, your digital first Pan-African network. I am Adesuwa Osuyi, and this is Africa Now. We begin with matters of insecurity. The United States on Wednesday blacklisted two Islamist extremist groups in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Mozambique as foreign terrorist organizations over accusations of links to Islamic State ISIS. The Allied Democratic Forces ADF in Congo, with its leader Seka Musa Baluku, and Mozambique's Al-Husuna Wajama, with its leader Abu Yasir Hassan, were also named specially designated global terrorists. The United States dubbed the group ISIS DRC and ISIS Mozambique. The Allied Democratic Forces ADF, a Ugandan insurgent faction active in eastern Congo since the 1990s, has been blamed for the killings of over 140 people since the start of the year in almost weekly attacks in Congo's restive east. The group killed around 850 people last year, according to UN figures. Al-Husuna Wajama, known in Mozambique as Al-Shabaab, staged its first attack in 2017. First known mainly for beheadings, the fighters declared allegiance to Islamic State in 2019 and have since increased attacks in scale and frequency. The designations prevent travel by members to the United States, freeze any U.S.-related assets, ban Americans from doing businesses with them, and make it a crime to provide support or resources to the movement. Ivory Coast Prime Minister Ahmad Bakayoko has died from cancer in the German city of Freiburg, where he was receiving medical treatment. According to the government, our country is in mourning, President Alassane Ouattara said in a Twitter post. It is with great sorrow that I announce the death of Prime Minister Ahmad Bakayoko, head of state, Minister of Defense, who died in Germany as a result of cancer. His health on Wednesday came 2 days after his 56th birthday and some 8 months following the passing away of his predecessor. Bakayoko was named Prime Minister in July 2020 following the sudden death of his predecessor Amadou Gon Coulibaly. He was first appointed Minister of Telecommunications and New Technologies in 2003, a position he held 2010. Ouattara appointed Bakayoko as Interior Minister from 2011 to 2017. He was elected mayor of the Port Abidjan district of Abobo in 2018. He won the parliamentary seat for the Segela district with 90% of the vote in Saturday's legislative election without campaigning in person. Results published on Sunday showed. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has condemned acts of ethnic cleansing in Ethiopia's embattled Tigray region as it called for full accountability and the departure of troops from neighboring Eritrea and other fighters. He made this known while testifying before Congress on Wednesday.
But the situation in Tigray today is unacceptable and has to change. And that means a few things. It means making sure that we're getting into the region, into Tigray, aid workers and others, humanitarian assistance, to make sure that the people are cared for, provided for, and protected. And it's very important that the government follow through on commitments that it's made. At this point, we have two other challenges that go to the security piece. One is we have, as you know, forces from Eritrea that are there, and we have forces from an adjoining region, Amara, that are there. They need to come out, and a force that will not abuse the human rights of the people of Tigray or commit acts of ethnic cleansing, which we've seen in western Tigray, that has to stop. We also need full accountability. We need to get an independent investigation into what took place there. And we need some kind of process, a reconciliation process, so that the country can move forward.
Blinken's comments came hours after Berhane Kidanamariam, the deputy chief of mission at the Ethiopian embassy in Washington, D.C., quit from his position, accusing Abiy of leading Ethiopians down a dark path towards destruction and disintegration. He also accused the government of misrepresenting conditions on the ground and failing to come clean about the presence of foreign powers, a reference to Eritrean troops. In a statement delivered on Tuesday to an African Union Council, Abiy said the Ethiopian government had taken concrete steps to address alleged human rights abuses and has signaled its unwillingness to collaborate with relevant UN agencies for the purposes of these investigations. Senegalese President Macky Sall has declared a day of national mourning in memory of those killed in recent unrest sparked by the arrest of opposition politician Ousmane Sonko, accused of rape, and the COVID-19 measures put in place. Sall also announced lifting of COVID-19 restrictions at midnight on March 19 that had angered people. At least 5 people were killed in recent clashes between opposition supporters and security forces sparked by the March 3 arrest of Ousmane Sonko, a government critic popular with the country's youth. Tensions only began to ease on Monday after a court freed Sonko from detention. An opposition collective known as the Movement for Defense of Democracy has called for a day of mourning on Friday, urging people to wear white to commemorate protesters who had died. It also urged supporters to gather for a peaceful demonstration in Dakar the following day to press for the release of what it described as political prisoners. This is your Digital Affairs Pan-African Network, TOS TV Network. You're watching Africa Now. Stories on Libya coming up after the break. Welcome back. Libya's long-divided parliament on Wednesday approved an interim government mandated to bring the fractured country together after a decade of chaos and violence and to oversee elections in December as part of a UN-backed peace plan. The parliament's approval of Prime Minister Abdulhamid Bebe's cabinet by 132 votes to 2 against it was the parliament's first full session in years after it split between eastern and western factions after being elected in 2014. Through this vote, it became clear that the Libyans are one unit, Bebe told Parliament afterwards. Both the Government of National Accord and the Eastern Administration welcomed the vote and said they were ready to hand power over to the new government. Parliament Speaker Aguila Saleh said Bebe's cabinet will be sworn in next week. Libya's Prime Minister designate on Tuesday expressed support for the maritime agreement signed between Turkey and the former UN-backed government based in Tripoli, saying it serves the country's economic interest. Under the deal with Turkey, Libya has acquired a good share of the gas field that it did not possess. Abdulhamid Bebe said, but added that Parliament is the one who will approve it. Bebe noted he couldn't say anything about the country's security agreement with Turkey, leaving decisions about those to parliamentarians. Still on Libya, security forces have freed 120 people believed to be migrants who were held captive and tortured by human traffickers in the northwestern town of Bani Walid, the army said. The migrants and refugees, mostly Egyptians, were released on Wednesday after a morning raid on the dens of human traffickers, the elite 444th Combat Brigade said in a statement. Their captors had subjected them to torture and extortion, it added, citing testimonies from those released. 6 hideouts were discovered in that operation and 70 migrants and refugees of different nationalities were released, it said, adding that one of the country's most notorious traffickers was detained along with other foreign criminals who were kidnapping, killing and torturing their victims. Libya has become the main transit point for people hoping to reach Europe after the North African country plunged into a bloody conflict following a NATO-backed uprising that toppled and killed longtime leader Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. Since February 2017, at least 36,000 people have been intercepted by the Libyan Coast Guard and returned to the North African country, UN statistics shows. This is still your Digital First Pan-African News Network, TOS TV, and you're still watching Africa Now. Updates on the Equatorial Guinea blast, business and sports. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. A number of countries have arrived on the scene in Bata, Equatorial Guinea, to help the government with rescue services 3 days after a blast at the barracks in the center of town killed more than 100 and maimed 615. Human Rights Watch has urged the government to conduct an independent probe. The most important thing we need right now is search and rescue, said Tutu Alicante, the head of EG Justice, a human rights group based in the U.S. France and Spain are sending supplies to the Central African country, including staff, health kits, and tents, while Israel and the U.S. are on the ground to help with search and rescue. According to the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, the blast caused widespread damage over an 800-meter radius. Initial assessments confirmed that approximately 300 houses were destroyed at the military compound alone. Somalia's former president Ali Mahdi Mohammed died on Wednesday at a hospital in neighboring Kenya, aged 82. Officials in Mogadishu and members of his family announced on Wednesday. According to the family, the former president fell ill in Mogadishu last week and was flown out to Kenya for further treatment. Mahdi was appointed president of Somalia by loyalists of the United Somali Congress in January 1991 and stayed in office until 2000. He was succeeded by Abdul Qasim Salid Hassan. President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo has said flags will fly at half-mast for 3 days in honor of the former president. A national funeral committee has also been appointed, Mr. Farmajo said. Politicians and former government officials have been sending messages of condolence. Now we move to business and sports. In business, the Kenya-UK post-Brexit trade agreement has received approvals from lawmakers of both countries, ending months of anxiety between the business community in Kenya and the UK. Both countries reached a deal on the continuation of duty and quota-free access of Kenya exports after the UK finally exited the European Union on November 3, 2020. In her tweet, British High Commissioner to Kenya, Jane Marriott, noted that the UK-Kenya trade agreement will bring significant benefits for Kenya and the British businesses, workers, and the economies. The UK market accounts for an estimated 43% of total export of vegetables from Kenya and at least 9% of cut flowers. A trade deal between the UK and Kenya will also guarantee continued market access for UK exporters who sold £855 million in goods and services to Kenya in 2019. Kenya is starting at massive losses in revenue following the ratification of the Economic Partnership Agreement with the United Kingdom. The National Assembly ratified the EPA on Tuesday, opening the local market to about 1,934 products from the UK, whose import tariff will either be lowered to or zero rated. The pact, which expires in 25 years, has been adopted at a time the country is facing challenges in financing its obligations. Although the EPA allows for gradual and partial reduction of tariff from 95% of the basic duty followed by total elimination, fears abound that a majority of imports are likely to be subjected to zero duty at the point of entry. This is notwithstanding that the MPs have already approved the 2021 budget policy statement that provides mechanism for government expenditures and revenue for the 2021 and 2022 financial year. And in sports, defending champions RS Berkane of Morocco started their title defense campaign with a home 2-0 win over Zambian debutant Napsa Stars in Group B Match Day 1 of the 2020-2021 Total CAF Confederation Cup. Terek Sectio men dominated the meeting from start to finish, having more than 70% of the possession. Berkane topped the Group B on goal difference from Algeria JS Kabylie, who defeated Cameroon's Cotton Sport 1-0 in TZ Uzu. In Group A, Algeria ES Setif and South Africa's Orlando Pirates shared the points after a barren stalemate. The draw put both sides behind Nigeria's Ayimba, who won Libya's Ali Benghazi 2-1 earlier on the day. And that is Africa Now on your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS TV. For more updates, do visit our website at www.tostvnetwork.com. Also follow and like TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. Do stay with us and enjoy more programs on TOS TV Network. I am Adesuwa Osuyi. Good afternoon.